What's up guys, Msinfinity here, and if you watched my last video, it was a couple days ago, then you know that I planned to do a mini-series, basically, about my health, because I get a lot of questions about my health problems, and a lot of them are very misunderstood. So, I guess here we go on that. I'm gonna do a separate video for each of my conditions. There's no real good word for it to make it sound not horrible. I mean, they're not great, don't get me wrong, but they're not some horrible infectious diseases or anything. So, anyway, the first condition that I'm going to go over is fibromyalgia. It is probably the most misunderstood of all of my illnesses, and frankly, it gets a little bit frustrating when people don't understand it nor make the effort to understand it. So, I'm going to go over the basics of it, give you the textbook definition of it, and then my personal experience with it, and answer some questions that I got from some of you guys. And, yeah, we're gonna go from there. And if you guys have any other questions by the end of this video, feel free to comment or message me on any of my social media. I will be glad to answer more questions, and yeah, I'm very happy and very open to explain my illnesses to people so that people can be aware of them and understand what they are. So, I guess here it goes. And I have a lovely little sheet of paper here that has all of the pinpoints of what I wanted to go over because, yeah, well, that's actually perfect to explain. One of the symptoms of fibromyalgia is something called fibrofog. Basically, it is when your brain feels foggy and cloudy, and it messes with your memory a lot. So, a lot of people with fibromyalgia have memory problems, and I am definitely one of them. I tend to lose focus very, very easily, and not remember what I was saying or what I was talking about. So, that is why I ramble so much, by the way, because of that. So, anyway. Textbook definition, fibromyalgia is defined as a chronic disorder characterized by widespread musculoskeletal pain, fatigue, and tenderness in localized points. There's no actual test for it. You can't just get blood drawn and be told that that's what you have. You can't do a urine test. You can't do any sort of x-rays, CT scans, MRIs, nothing. No lab tests will tell you that you have it. In the past, though, and I had to get this test done, in the past, doctors would put firm pressure on 18 different tender points, and in order to be diagnosed with fibromyalgia, you had to be tender in at least 11 of these. However, it varies day to day, so one day, someone with fibromyalgia could be tender in all 18 of them. However, the very next day, they could be tender in 2. I mean, it really just, it varies person to person and day to day. So, that's another thing that makes it very difficult to misdiagnose and cause a lot of confusion. There aren't a whole lot of tests on it. There is currently one theory going on that the reason that you have such widespread pain is because of extra nerve sensors basically in your hands. Tests have shown that people with fibromyalgia have, 2 or more times of these nerve sensors than other people, and so that's the current big theory about why you have such widespread pain. But a lot of people still think it is a problem with the way your brain and your spinal cord process nerve sensors, nerve signals, pain signals that your nerves fire off. It's a lot of scientists and doctors still believe that it is a misfiring, basically, of pain signals, and a problem with the way your brain and spinal cord process them. So, unfortunately, there is still not a whole lot of information about fibromyalgia, and what it is, what causes it, where it comes from. There are a lot of speculations, a lot of theories, but there's nothing that's definite, unfortunately. It's actually the second most common condition affecting your bones and muscles. So, being that it's such a big thing, like the second biggest, that's pretty big. There are a lot of diseases that affect your bones and muscles, and this is the second most common. So why there is not more information on it, I will never know. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll know one day, but as of right now, at least, I have no idea. We don't know why there's no information on it. Another very unfortunate thing about it is that there is no cure. Currently, there is absolutely no cure for fibromyalgia. It's unfortunate, but it is the way it is. And other than that, everything else that I can think of can be answered with these questions that I got. So thank you to everybody that asked these questions. And again, if you have more questions after this video and something you would like to know didn't get answered, then shoot me a message and I will either make another video or I will do my best to answer you directly. So, here goes into the questions. What is it? It's a complicated question. Definition-wise, refer back to the definition. It's a chronic disorder characterized by widespread musculoskeletal pain, fatigue, and tenderness in localized points. However, it is different for different people. Different people have different symptoms. The most common symptom, obviously, is the widespread pain. Almost everyone that I've ever met that has fibromyalgia, they have a lot of pain all the time. Some people have pretty extreme fatigue. I am one of them. But some people, they have no problem with energy at all. A lot of people that have fibromyalgia have a gluten intolerance. Also one of them. But a lot of people also don't. It affects more men than women, or more women than men, sorry. Again with the lovely brain fart. But it is most common in women, and don't know why on that either, actually. There's no answer as to why it's more prevalent in women. But it is the way it is. The next question, what causes it? Doctors don't know. Nobody knows exactly what causes it, but there are theories. Some things that are thought to cause it. You're more likely to have it if you're a woman. You're more likely to have it if you have been, if you've been harassed or assaulted in some way and suffer from PTSD from that. A lot of people say that a lot of people who have fibromyalgia have had a situation like that happen to them. It seems as though it is genetic, and that is also a case in my point. My grandmother on my dad's side had it, and so they think it might be genetic as well. I didn't write down all the little points as to what you're more likely to have it, but those are the three that I remember. Those are the top three that I remember. Oh yeah, and if you rarely exercise, which was definitely not the case with me whenever I was first diagnosed. I worked out all the time. I was always out doing something. I was always hanging out with friends. I was always going somewhere and doing something all the time. But after getting diagnosed, it escalated very, very quickly. So unfortunately, it has affected a lot of my life, unfortunately. The next question is there anything you can do to ease or prevent it? Prevent it? Nothing I've found. Nothing that I have found or any of my friends who have it have found can prevent it. However, a combination of various medications, light exercising, because a lot of people who have fibromyalgia cannot do a lot of vigorous exercising. Most rheumatologists, who are currently the ones that diagnose, even though they're still by far not specialists, but they're the ones who you have to go see to get diagnosed with it. But most rheumatologists suggest things like water therapy and Tai Chi and yoga, just simple things like that to get your body moving. And meditation. Meditation's also one that they suggest. And eating healthy. They say that can lower your pain levels and help ease it a little bit, but I have not personally noticed any difference in my pain when eating healthier than usual. So, I mean, it might help other people, but me personally, it does not help. Which kind of goes into the next question. What is it like for you? I have stated that it differs. It varies from person to person, from day to day. I have good days and I have bad days. Good days, I can get up, I can play with the dogs, I can go outside and walk around for a little bit, I can walk around a store without needing to take a break or having a wheelchair. I can get up, I can cook meals, I can clean around the house a little bit, I can sit up and not have to take a nap throughout the day. I can do just about what anybody else can do, just to a lesser extent. However, on my bad days, and this goes hand in hand with the next question, by the way, and the next question is, how bad does it get, and what are the extremes? On bad days, I can barely get out of bed. I'm in so much pain that it hurts to roll over. It hurts to be touched, even lightly. Like, my 4-month-old son can lay his hand on me, and it causes me to want to scream. I can't get up and take a shower, I can't roll over in bed, I can't stand at all. And those are on my severely bad days, by the way. There are also, like, neutral days where it is very painful to get up and do anything. And these are my normal days, is the neutral ones. It's still very painful to get up and do anything. I'm very, very tired all the time. I have to take a nap, otherwise I feel like my body's shutting down. If we go to a bigger store like Walmart, or if we go to the mall, I pretty much have to be in a wheelchair because my body can't handle walking around like that. And it's unfortunate, but I do what I can to get through it, get past it. But again, just remember it varies, it differs from person to person, and from day to day. Some people who have it might seem completely fine, but you look at someone next to them who also has it, and they're laying on the floor screaming in pain. I mean, there's only so much that you can do for it. And, it's different for different people. Some people have a fairly easy time with it, some people don't. There are also, I believe, 6 stages of fibromyalgia, and I do not remember what each of these stages is at all. But, you can pretty easily Google the 6 stages of fibromyalgia. In fact, I might throw a link in the description, in case you're interested in it. But I am at stage 4 or 5, so I have a pretty severe case of it. Oh yeah, back to, you know, I guess what causes it. You are also more likely to get it the older you are. It is very prevalent in 40 and up, usually. So I have gotten a lot of comments from doctors saying, "You're awfully young to have this. Are you sure it wasn't misdiagnosed?" I'm like, I have been tested for everything you can be tested for, and I don't have any of it. I don't have MS, I don't have lupus, I don't have arthritis of any kind. I don't, like, there's nothing else that I have. This is the only thing that explains why I am the way I am. And so, it's very annoying being as young as I am and having this pain. Which is part of the next question. Is it a constant pain, or does it flare? Both. Both. I am pretty much always in pain in at least one part of my body. Like right now, my hands hurt. And that is the biggest part that hurts most patients all the time. Most people who have fibromyalgia complain about hand and foot pain. And my hands almost always hurt, which really sucks because I used to write all the time and now it hurts to. It hurts to do very simple tasks. It hurts to brush my hair because it hurts to hold onto the brush and keep my fist closed. It hurts to write. It hurts to text on my phone. But I mean, that's one of the pains that I'm getting kind of used to. That just constant. But I honestly don't remember the last day that I didn't have any pain at all. I don't remember it. And then it does flare up a lot. Like I said, with the extremes, there are days that I can't move because I'm in so much pain. There are times where it flares up so badly that all over my body, that if someone were to touch me with even a feather, I scream. And those days are the worst. Thankfully, those extremes are few and far between. I don't have them anywhere near as much now. I used to have them a lot more often, but after getting put on the medication that I'm on now, and I prefer not to disclose what medications I'm on, I'm really not entirely sure why. I don't think it matters what kind of medication I'm on. I don't think the public really needs to know. But since getting put on the medication that I'm on, it seems to help a lot. However, they've already had to up my dose once, and with the way it's been acting up here lately, like within the last couple weeks, it appears that they might have to up it again. Which sucks, but it is the way it is. Next question, what do you do for flare-ups? There's really not a whole lot that I can do. I mean, if I can handle moving, then I can get up and soak in an Epsom salt bath. That seems to help a little bit. And lavender essential oils, like if I can get a hold of them, putting like 10 drops of lavender essential oils in the bath with the Epsom salt, that tends to help me. It helps relax the muscles. Epsom salt is used for so many things. It's wonderful. It can be used as a muscle relaxer in a bath. It can be used as like plant food or fertilizer for planting things. Can be used for a laxative. There are a lot of things you can use it for. It's a pretty diverse little thing. It's nice. And you can also get scented Epsom salts, and I didn't know that until this past Christmas when my grandma gave me a scented bag of Epsom salts that was honey and lavender, I think. And that one, oh, it was wonderful. I loved it. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find it here. So, I'm going to have to see where she got it and buy a couple bags, because that was wonderful. Aside from the Epsom salt bath, though, I mean, I can take Tylenol and hope it helps, but honestly, Tylenol doesn't touch me anymore. Tylenol has very little to no effect on any pain that I ever have anymore. If the flare-up gets too bad, like to the point that touching me makes me scream, oftentimes I have to go to the emergency room for it, because there's nothing that they can do in a doctor's office for it. They'll just tell me to go to the emergency room. And, I mean, it gets to the point that I black out. Like, I will literally black out, lose consciousness from the pain. It gets horrible. So, when it gets to that point, I have to go to the emergency room, and generally they'll give me a shot of something a little bit stronger than what I'm currently on. A lot of times they'll just give me a shot, or they'll give me an IV. Sometimes the pain can cause me to have anxiety attacks, and oftentimes they'll have to give me something to calm me down, slow my heart rate back down, get my blood pressure back to a normal level. But other than, you know, Epsom salt baths and going to the ER, unfortunately there's not a whole lot that I can do for flare-ups, and it sucks, but it is the way it is. And I've said that a lot during this video, haven't I? I apologize. And this this oh so lovely question, and then that's actually the last question I have, so. How does it affect those around you? Mostly it makes people afraid. It makes a lot of people scared to touch me. It makes a lot of people afraid to say the wrong thing because they don't know all of the triggers for fibromyalgia, and yes, there are triggers. A lot of people can't handle extreme temperatures. Like, if it gets too hot out, it'll affect their fibro. If it gets too cold out, mine is too cold. If it gets too cold out, basically it feels like my joints are freezing. It feels like they're freezing in place, and it hurts to move them. They get very, very stiff. But stress is another trigger that people don't understand. Stress can cause me pain, like physical pain. So a lot of people are afraid to say the wrong things to me, which honestly just stresses me out more. When people try to keep things from me or sugarcoat everything because they don't want to stress me out, that honestly just stresses me more. You're better off just telling me blatantly, flat out, what's going on. It makes a lot of people afraid to ask me to go do anything because it's completely unpredictable. You don't know if you're gonna have a bad day or not when you wake up. You don't know if it's gonna be good. There's no magic fairy that's gonna come and tell you, hey, you're gonna have a good day today, so be productive, be good, go out and have fun. Or, you know, some monster that's gonna be like, nope, I'm beating you up all day. You can't tell. I mean, you can be in extreme pain one minute, and then the next minute you're completely fine. You never know. It's completely a gamble, really. So people are afraid to ask me to go out and do things because either they're afraid that I'm going to be in pain and that they're going to feel like they're the cause of my pain, or, and this is very unfortunate, but it does happen, there are people who are afraid to ask me to come out because I'd be a buzzkill. My pain, if it were to flare up, would kill a good mood. It would make what was supposed to be a fun day not so fun. And that really sucks. I've lost a lot of friends over it, actually, because they would, at first, for the first couple of weeks, they would try to ask me out still and try to come over and hang out, but my pain scared them too much. When I went into a flare-up or a serious attack, they'd be too scared because they would ask me, you know, what can I do to help? And I have to explain to them, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can try ice packs, you can try heating packs, you can try helping me sit up to soak my feet in Epsom salt, because there's no way at an attack like that I'm getting all the way to the bathroom to get into a tub, you know. But, you know, they would ask me, what can I do? And when I told them that, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do, just try to stick with me until it passes. I don't like being alone during this. And a lot of people couldn't handle it. So a lot of my friends that used to hang out with me all the time barely even talk to me online now. And it's unfortunate, but, you know, if that's how people are going to be, then I don't need them in my life, you know? So, as far as how it affects people around me, mostly it makes them scared. It makes a lot of people scared, and it stresses a lot of people out, and I understand that, but unfortunately those that it stresses out, most of them don't understand that it stresses me out a lot more. I hide most of my pain because I don't want to be a burden to other people. And that kind of ties into another one of my illnesses. And I will go over, you know, all of my illnesses in each video. And then at the end of the miniseries, I will have a video on interactions and countermeasures, basically. How each of the health conditions affects each other, and what I can do to try and fight against that, basically. Michael's coming out, so beware for the door to open. There it goes. But anywho, this is pretty much the end of the video. I can't really think of any other way it seriously affects people. Most people just, they don't know very much about it, and it scares them, and it stresses them out, and some people, it even makes angry, which is kind of ridiculous, actually, if you really think about it. How can you be angry about my health? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But people will be the way they will be, and I just have to deal with it and get over it. I will deal with my health, and if you want to stick around, good. If you don't, you weren't meant to be here. So, I hope that this video helped you guys understand a little bit more about fibromyalgia and what it is and how it can affect different people. Like I've said twice, I think, already. If you have any other questions about it, feel free to comment or message me on any of my social media. All of the links are in the description, like they always are. And I will do my best to answer any and all questions. If you want me to do another video, I will. And that's it. So I hope you guys stick around for the rest of the series. And I hope you guys find this at least semi-informational. I'm trying to help raise awareness for it and inform people about, you know, why I am the way I am, what problems I have. So, that's about it. So, stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!